Hi, welcome to Parenting to Win. I'm your host, Clarinda McGrady. If you're new at our site, parentingtowin.com is your one-stop shop for all your parenting needs. Here, you'll find helpful tips and expert advice for all parents, no matter if you have kids in diapers or kids in dorms. Today on Parenting to Win, we'll be speaking with nationally certified school psychologist Taieka. Taieka will be sharing with us the epidemic of bullying and just how much it's affecting our kids today. Hi Taieka, and welcome to Parenting to Win. Thank you so much for being a guest.
Thanks for having me.
Taieka, I just want to ask you, being a nationally certified school psychologist, what exactly are some of the roles that you do and things that you see in regards to bullying?
In regards to bullying, I tend to deal with children who are expressing behavior outbursts, emotional problems that are generally being seen as aggressive behaviors. Mm-hmm. My role is to meet with those students, find out what the underlying factors are, and to help them process and work through those things so that they're not doing the bullying behavior.
Okay, in my household, I hear the term bullying all the time with my kids. He's bullying me, she's bullying me. But what exactly is bullying? Can you define that?
Yeah, bullying is sometimes a very confusing thing to understand. A lot of kids do tend to use the word bullying. Bullying technically is defined as repeated, unwanted, verbal, physical, or psychological aggression or harassment towards a person that is unable to defend themselves. Okay. And the hopes of that is to gain power or control over the person that they're bullying.
So it's pretty much when someone's left feeling powerless.
Yes, okay. And helpless, yes.
And over the past 10 years, how have we seen a shift in bullying?
10 years ago, bullying was probably seen as a natural part of childhood, kind of the boys will be boys. With a lot of the new incidents that we've seen in the national media concerning bullying, it has become a huge incident problem that the states and federal government are now mandating that schools take care of. The newest trend, I guess, in bullying is cyberbullying, which occurs through electronic devices. Wow. What we see there is usually through text messaging, emails, posting pictures or videos, saying negative things on someone's social media site. And those tend to be more discreet and not as overt when we think of a typical bully. We think of someone that's being aggressive or putting their hands on someone or picking on them, but most of the bullying now is going on discreetly.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, how can parents sort of intervene and know if their child is either A, being bullied, or B, being the bully?
Okay. Some of the key signs, if your child is being bullied, is looking for any unexplained marks or bruises, scratches on their body. If your child's coming home from school and their clothing is torn or damaged, they're missing their items, they're losing money, their games, their phone. Other things that parents don't sometimes pick up on is eating habits. Oh. A lot of the bullies bully during lunchtime. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our students, it's not about stealing their money anymore. Mm-hmm. It's about, I want to avoid the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our students aren't even going in to eat. So when they get home from school, they're hungry. Wow. Other things like sleeping patterns changing, saying things like no one likes me. Those are the kind of things that you should look out for. As far as if your child is a bully, first thing is, has your child ever been accused of being a bully? Have you ever gotten phone calls from administrators at school that your child is picking on someone? Is your child a child that tends to be verbally, physically aggressive? Mm-hmm. Is your child coming home with money or items that they didn't leave home with, saying that someone else gave it to them?
Right. So Taieka, let me ask you, what are some tips that we can equip our kids with? So many times parents are, if they're being bullied, the first line of defense may be fight back. You know, is that something that we should be equipping our kids with, or what can we do?
The first thing is to reassure your child that being different does not mean that they deserve to be picked on or bullied. The other thing that, there's kind of like 3 strategies we tell parents, and depending on your kid, one will work better than the other. The first one is just to avoid it. Walk away. Don't go in areas of the school where you know the bully is going to be. The other thing is to walk in packs. Okay. Make sure you're walking with other students. Bullies tend to do the bullying when you're alone. And the other thing that we've suggested that's actually been quite effective is having the child who's being bullied laugh it off. So when the bully does say something inappropriate, they laugh it off. That kind of takes the bully off guard, and it's like, this isn't bothering this person. I'm not getting to them.
I like that because it actually shows a sense of confidence.
Yes.
And in that way, the bully would probably sort of retreat.
Yes, and then of course, notify school administration, let them know what's going on so they can do a full investigation.
Okay, awesome. I like the laugh approach.
It works.
Yeah. I wonder in the schools now, are there any preventative strategies that they're incorporating or anything of that nature? What are they doing in the schools?
Yes, all schools by law now are mandated to have anti-bullying prevention programs in their schools. And those programs not only train the teachers and staff, but they're also supposed to train the students on recognizing bullying, preventing bullying, and then what to do as far as intervening when you see bullying.
So Taieka, let's speak about the cases when someone has been falsely accused of bullying. How does that play out?
What tends to happen is because we're doing so much bullying intervention and we're talking to kids about it all the time, they're supposed to go to school, kids sometimes get confused about what bullying is and just teasing.
Okay.
So what we typically do first is to try to make sure there's a repeated pattern and that the person who's being bullied, the key part is that the person is feeling that they have no power or they're being dominated over. Most of the times our kids play on the playground or they're goofing off in the hallways, the older kids, and it's not really bullying, it's just playful teasing. It's when the child that's being bullied starts to affect their grades, their self-esteem, that's when we really start looking at, is it bullying?
And speaking of that, what are some of the psychological effects that bullying can leave on a child, even if not right then, but maybe even later on in life?
Yeah, there's two things I always worry about with bullies. I worry about the bully and I worry about the kid who's being bullied, the victim. Victims tend to have higher rates of depression. They tend to feel unwanted or rejected when really there wasn't a rejection. They tend to have issues with engaging socially with people for fear of being rejected. And the worst thing that could happen, which we've seen on television, is that it goes to the extreme where a child takes their life.
Yeah.
As far as the bullies, I always tell people bullies grow up to be adult bullies.
Yeah.
And bullying doesn't only happen in the school. It can happen in the workplace. It can happen in social environments. So those bullies tend to grow up to either have higher rates of criminal activities, higher rates of convictions and being incarcerated. They tend to have more personality disorders as far as like sociopaths and bipolar disorder, things like that. So we really try to capture it at a young age so we can throw in some interventions to try to help prevent those future things from occurring.
And before we close, Taieka, I would like to ask you, what about, we spend time on the bully, the person's doing the bullying, and then the victim of that, but what about the bystander?
Good question. The bystanders are probably one of the most important parts of the bullying programs that are in schools, because we're trying to teach the kids that when you see bullying, even though it's not occurring to you or you're not the bully, you're still part of that environment. You're still part of that incident. So the programs that are mainly focused on teaching kids to have respect, responsibility, and caring for everyone in the school, and then letting them know that it's their responsibility to make sure the school climate is positive. So usually the bystanders are who we go to find out what happened, how it happened, because typically the bully and the victim have different points of view.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taieka, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you coming here. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, I'm Clarinda McGrady, reminding you that raising your kids to be champions will make you a winner every time.